Okay, let's focus on a massive Premier League game coming up this weekend. Tottenham against Manchester City. Can Spurs be more solid this time? Obviously, against City recently, had that big lead, Andy, and then City came roaring back. But this game always seems to deliver drama, a lot of goals, a lot of crazy, crazy moments. They rattled City, right? I mean, when they met them last time, as I said, 2-0 up at half time, City come flying back. Pep wasn't happy with that performance, but certainly leaves us to believe there could be a lot of drama when these two meet in North London this weekend.
Yeah, Spurs have traditionally over the years, kind of this, purple era of Spurs history. They have faced City very well, and we saw it in the first half, the first time that they met this season. Spurs didn't really give up anything when City had the ball, and it was a huge departure from what we've seen from them for most of the season. And then it completely fell apart in the second half. And I think it was pretty predictable once the first goal went in that there was going to be some trouble for Spurs in the second half. That's kind of, it's been the reverse MO for them this season. It's just unpredictable with them. And not that City have been incredibly predictable this season, but you never know. Forget game to game with Spurs. You never know what you're going to get from half to half or even a 10 or 15-minute period to the next one.
And Nick, Andy mentioned it there with Man City. Pretty predictable, right? We know that they're in the title race once again. We know they're just purring along just behind Arsenal. But his recent comments about Arsenal after that win against Tottenham, and then the fact that he wants them to be more ruthless. He wants the fans to have more desire. He wants the players to have more desire and be hungrier. It just seems like there's something building at Man City with losing João Cancelo late in the window. Just Pep trying to shake things up a little bit, and he might be a bit concerned about staying in this title race when everyone thinks, you've got Haaland, you've got De Bruyne, you'll be fine. But is there something bubbling away under the surface there at Man City?
Maybe we could be in a situation where there's one of those cult of personality situations that we've seen, just kind of something runs its way down. I think it's probably unfair to say that that's happened a little bit at Liverpool.
I was hoping you were going to say it because I had the exact same thought as soon as you said it.
Yeah, no, I think that there's really something there. And yeah. I mean, you mentioned though the Occam's razor, right? Sometimes the simplest answer is the right answer. Tottenham has one of the best center forwards of all time. So why do they fare well? Because they got that guy. They got that guy. We've seen what happens when Harry Kane is out of the lineup for England and for Tottenham. It's just a different team. He is a different breed. He is probably, this is one of those things, Joe, you and I talk about this a lot, where I'll kind of pick your brain and say, hey, look, I'm not English, but is this guy overrated or underrated just because of where he was born? I think Harry Kane gets a bum rap because he's not, not a sexy Frenchman or something. So Harry Kane gives everyone a chance, and that's really, I think, what you can credit for Tottenham's record against Man City.
Absolutely. And when we talk about Tottenham, obviously, they're just kind of chugging along quite nicely, Andy. I mean, not pretty, but they're in the top 4 hunt, and it's probably what we expected. I know they had a great start to the season, some decent signings in the summer, and even ourselves included. Maybe not quite you, but Nick and I were getting a bit carried away, and I think generally fans were getting carried away a little bit. But this is kind of where they've regressed a bit back to where they're mean, right? Yeah. Where they really should be. And obviously Kane's going for the goal scoring record to become the all-time leading goal scorer. Pedro Porro joining from Sporting Lisbon was a big move late in the January window, so he'll add a lot of attacking flair down that right wing-back position. Yeah. They've given themselves, they just hung in there, right? After having a few results. They're just still in the top 4 hunt, but what are your thoughts on Tottenham right now?
My main thought is they play to their competition too much, I think. It feels like a bit of a lost season for Spurs because progress is not being made. When progress was, to me, was the biggest thing that I was looking for this season. It wasn't looking for a title challenge. It wasn't looking to, supplant Liverpool or City. It was looking to progress and get closer to them. And I think it's very clear they've taken massive steps back. But at the same time, they can still finish 4th. They can still be in the Champions League next season, and they wouldn't have to be otherworldly good over the second half of the season to do it because they are in a pretty strong position. They just need Newcastle to kind of, all due respect, find their level. Maybe they're not a top 4 team just yet and regress back to the mean themselves. So it's a very weird season with the question hanging over the entire thing is is Antonio Conte going to be around next year? Is Antonio Conte going to be around at the end of the season, given the way that he has left a number of previous jobs? It's uncertain times, I guess you could say, at Spurs.
Absolutely. And very, what's the word? Very important times, I guess, for Man City, Nick. When you look at the next few weeks for them, obviously face Arsenal in the league coming up. Then they have the Champions League against Leipzig. And this game against Spurs, they really need to set off on the right path, right, and set the tone for this pivotal period, really, in their season. So when it comes to City, what kind of players do you want to see step up? We mentioned Haaland. He's a goal machine. We know that. We know De Bruyne is sensational. But is there anybody in this City team that you want to say, okay, now's the time. We're getting towards spring is on the, just coming up in the horizon here. We need you to step up and be the player that's helped us win these trophies galore over the past few years.
Yeah, look to the old hats. Look to Kevin De Bruyne. Look to Kyle Walker. Look to players that are going to be out there who have been there, done that. Because while Pep Guardiola is going to be out there trying to get the energy levels up, get the passion up, which he's clearly shown that's what he wants to see, there are guys he shouldn't have to do that with. There are guys who should just click into a gear. Kevin De Bruyne just, all right, this is a big one. We're going to play Spurs. This is a tough one. I'm gonna put that extra bit in the tank, and we're going to come out here with a 2-0, 2-1 win.
Yeah, kind of autopilot, right? At this time of the season, the City always feels like they just kind of just grind teams down because they are so good, have so many options. And I think that's going to be massive, the fact that they have so many great attacking options. They can rotate throughout this stretch of games. And I think defensively, though, that's where they have to get, Diaz back. Obviously, John Stones has been worked back into the lineup. Rico Lewis has been excellent coming in, the youngster, but is Kyle Walker, like you said, Nick, going to be the go-to guy in these big games? Probably, I still think at this point. But that's where I want to see City really improve. Stop making those little silly mistakes. Edison, stop making the mistakes that happened against Tottenham in the reverse fixture not too long ago. So, Andy, what's the key battle in this game? We mentioned De Bruyne a lot. Is it stopping him and sort of stopping the supply line to Haaland? And if you're Tottenham, how do you do that? Is that down to Højbjerg and Bentancur? And is that pretty much the game right there?
Yeah, my every week frustration with Spurs and their lineup becomes the game plan, like the necessary and correct game plan in this week. It is the fact that you've got two very defensive midfielders sitting in there deep, and Bentancur and Højbjerg, and they're very good at doing that job. But when Spurs have the ball, which obviously they probably won't have a ton of in this game, and so you do have to set up a little bit more conservatively. I think they will make life difficult in there. But I agree with Nick that there will be someone from this City team will have said, like, okay, this is not good enough. We are not having this. We are not standing for this. We are better than this. We have been better than this. And we have, we want to go on and we want to three-peat and win the Premier League 3 times in a row. We want to go on and win the Champions League. And I think those two things are very, very linked with one another. If they can go on a run and come back and win the Premier League title, I think it gives them all of the momentum and all of the confidence going into Europe as well. And so it does feel like this next couple of weeks are really important for City. So yeah, it's the midfield battle and how quickly Spurs can play their way out when they do win the ball. Like, that is the number one thing. Son got a couple goals in the FA Cup, maybe coming back into form just a little bit. Spurs have not been dangerous on the counter much this season. That's really last season when they made up ground to catch Arsenal. That's where they did the most of their attacking business. So I'd like to see them get back to that just a little bit more.
What I love as well for City recently, Mahrez or Grealish or Julian Alvarez or Haaland or De Bruyne, Gundogan, someone's just been stepping up in those key moments for them, and it's just really been a sharing of responsibility. So that's what they have to do as well. But you're right on Spurs. I was thinking exactly that. The sort of ways that they've had success against City in recent years is being clinical, is being good on the counter, and just connecting those 3 or 4 passes that will get them up the pitch quickly. Because we know that City, in those wide areas in particular, the fullbacks tuck in, become extra midfielders, and that if you connect a couple of passes, that's where Spurs can get the wing backs involved and get wide forwards, the likes of Kulusevski and Son involved. So let's wait and see. It's going to be a great game, always delivers drama. Tottenham against Manchester City. And Nick Mendola, easy question. What's your score prediction for this game, mate?
Man City 2-1.
All right. Andy, you agree?
City will win Yeah, 2-1 sounds good, actually. Spurs will make a game of this, probably more than they should, just given the way that play goes over the course of 90 minutes, but they'll somehow still be in it at the end.
I saw enough in the reverse game to think that Spurs could get something here. If they are more solid, they're at home. I'm going to go 2-2. I can just see, as Nick mentioned, Harry Kane obviously going for the record, or usually the man for the big occasion. And I think, Spurs are getting back towards their best, or at least their sort of solid, resolute best. So I can see him causing a few problems, but always delivers drama, this game. And head over to Pro Soccer Talk at NBCSports.com for all the latest how-to-watch information, preview, team news, analysis and reaction on Tottenham against Man City this Sunday.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. For even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you over there.